welcome to Who Corner to Corner podcast. I'm doing the intro because Paul has failed twice to do it successfully, and I've stumbled a little bit there as well, so this one's going well. So,
it's a Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday today?
Yes, it is Tuesday, yeah.
It is, isn't it?
I'm Geoff.
Like Tuesdays.
He's Paul.
Yeah, hi.
And we are back for another one of our world-famous commentary episodes where we watch an episode of Doctor Who and commentate our way through it.
Famous. Or
World
actually, where
famous.
we watch where we have an episode of Doctor Who running in the background and we talk bollocks over it, mostly.
Yeah. And if you enjoy that, then that's amazing.
Please
so
join us for more. We got plans to do many of these.
Yeah, we do. So we are halfway through the Visitation from season 19.
The Visitation.
Peter Davison.
Yeah.
And we are now going to look at part 3 and 4. So load up the Visitation on your preferred viewing device.
I play it for me, Geoff.
Yep, I play here, and when I say 3, I'm going to hit play. We're going to go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're on.
I do like that rainbowy lens flare-y thing.
You do like a bit of lens flare?
I do like a bit of lens flare.
Are you
do you know why?
J.J. Abrams school of lens flare?
Well, I mean, I think he might have gone slightly too far on it, but you know, lens flare, I think, is a very sci-fi looking thing. But
can't disagree with that.
It's also, you know, expensive lenses give you that. You know, years ago, I would have had to have hired special lens adapters to get that, you know, thing without anamorphic lenses. And I think it adds it's just a really cool touch. And what's funny is I've seen people saying, ooh, too much lens flare in the Chibnall era and stuff like this. And, you know, people hate lens flare. Every single camera guy I know is like, lens flare. So,
well, probably because it's been overused a little bit in certain movies by J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Actually, it's interesting because the you know Blade Runner, one of my favourite top films. So the original 1980s Blade Runner with Harrison Ford, that opening shot of the police spinners going over the landscape towards the Tyrell building. So you see them in the back. You see the brake lights are kind of red, blue, whatever, right? Originally, that didn't have any lens flare on it, and Ridley looked at it and he thought it looked a little bit boring, dull, flat, unconvincing. So they just added some lens flare using optical special effects thereafter, and suddenly lifted it. So it looked $1 million suddenly.
Yeah, it's you know, lens flare or a bit of smoke in a scene. They just help to
bit of atmosphere.
It just adds something and lifts things up a little bit. You know, you can take a dull scene and, well, not dull, but something that's, you know, perhaps lacking a little bit by nature of its environment or whatever. Throw some smoke in it, shine a bit of light through it, bingo.
Tell you what, you know,
sexy.
Just bring it back on topic because this scene right here that we're looking at in the Visitation could do with a bit of atmosphere. Geoff, be quiet. We've just talked right over something now. You were going somewhere interesting and then you just totally just made it into a childish, I don't know what the hell that was. You know, that scene in the barn with the Doctor getting executed or not actually being executed?
Sussy.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Forget it.
Yes, I do know the scene.
Why do I bother?
Preceding scene.
Right. Could have done with some smoke effects, some light shafts through the barn or something like that. If it was done nowadays, it would have been.
Oh, it would have been. And isn't it interesting that they didn't do it back then? Is it because time, budget, or was it because it was viewed as it's TV? So therefore, I
think it just didn't occur to people after time. I mean, maybe time and, you know, cost of a smoke machine rented for the day or something, you know. But I think maybe
a pesky fire alarm around that will play havoc with a smoke machine.
In the same way that rats don't constitute a hazard, I guess.
I just noticed that Pteroleptil's ear is moving. A gill.
I think this is an animatronic mask, isn't it? There you go.
The mouth
little
moves
flappy
well.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
missing his eye,
isn't
isn't he? He's horrible.
Yeah. He's obviously been through some kind of trauma prior to this adventure.
If this was made today, we'd end up with a prequel that explained how his face got burnt.
Yeah, maybe.
And, do we need to know everything?
Not really.
No.
I'd rather guess, create my own story in the background, you know, as to what may have happened.
Know.
I think the book goes into it. for a paragraph or two, possibly. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since I read the novelisation of this.
I see you've got it on the shelf there. You
I
should,
do. I have two
have a look.
different versions. Yeah.
See, the TARDIS is so. I mean, it's it's a good.
I love the TARDIS of this area. We see a lot of it.
Yeah.
Arguably too much, maybe. I don't know. I
don't know.
enjoy the TARDIS. You know, it's
Yeah. I
got something
always
going on there.
wished that we would see more of it. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS promised to be
It did, didn't it?
exciting
And that
was a bit of a
yeah. I'm not a fan of that one.
squib
particularly.
in the end.
Well,
Although
it
when
became something else, didn't it? It became some sort of weird, surreal, nightmare-fueled journey to the inner psyche or something.
yeah, it did, yeah.
It was just weird.
It was cool when they were in the white space
With the
and
big
bits
red
were
button.
floating in the air, yeah. Oh, yeah, the big red reset button, yeah.
Oh dear.
But yeah, see this scene here is quite nicely lit in that it's kind of green and it's fairly simple. But
Yeah.
the TARDIS, imagine if like the roundels lit up and dimmed like they do now, or you had some lens
Oh,
flare.
they do. Lens flare. Lens flare on the roundels.
It would make it so different, but
One
different
of
era.
my one of my favourite couple of areas of the TARDIS were actually one of them was in this series, Castrovalva, Peter Davison's first story, or the first one that we saw anyway. The Zero Room, where you have, I mean, it's supposed to be scripted as a massive, massive cathedral-like space, and obviously they couldn't quite realise that on the budget, but nonetheless the roundels are huge; they're massive things, and I like that. I like the way that certain times like that it kind of plays around with the familiar architecture. The other one is the cloister room in Legopolis, the last Tom Baker story, where you have those kind of columns and dusty creepers decaying into sort of crispy leaves and things like that. It just gives it a bit of weirdness and a bit of atmosphere, I think,
'cause
and character.
You could do anything with it as a ship and spaces and all that. I mean, there's a 12th Doctor audio where I think is it he has two audio only companions, and one of them or both of them gets lost on the TARDIS and stumbles into the jungle that he has on there. And there's a reason why he's got it and everything. But yeah, you could do all of that sort of thing with it.
You can.
Now, this
The
is quite
story has to
nicely
carry
lit
it.
here. This
Yes.
is quite dark and shadowy, isn't it?
It is. This is the Doctor and Richard Mace incarcerated in what looks like another barn or
Probably
something.
the same one, just redressed, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. And this is the Miller guy, isn't it? I think has been kind of taken over or being used by the pteroleptals.
Did you
as
notice the
some kind of
pteroleptals had
control?
3 flick switches to control 3 people? I
Oh,
don't know
did
what
they?
they'd have done if
I
they
must
had
have missed
4
that one.
people.
Yeah, they'd have been
Okay,
scuppered.
we
wouldn't they?
can't do that one. Sorry, you have to.
We
go back
cannot
to-
do 4. There's 3 only. I told you, you idiot.
I wouldn't pay for the 4 model.
Oh, dear, excuse me while I drink some water. There might be some coughing on this podcast. If there is, blame Geoff for not editing it out.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to do that to old Bob Fleming there. When we talked with Aldura when we watched that 6th Doctor story, was that Revelation of the Daleks, and we sort of noticed how the lighting was improving in that era, wasn't it? And
It was in that story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's. I think all of it is on the director of the time.
yeah,
I think it's them and their decisions and the people they bring in to do the lighting and photography and stuff like that.
well, by the way, you're going to really enjoy the thumbnail I did for the first part of this
Oh my
episode.
goodness! I dread to think. I dread to think.
Just
You went hippie crazy with the Happiness Patrol one. I don't know what was going on in your head with that one. Oh no! I'll stick their faces on top of a Candyman. That was quite funny though.
I've done it again.
And then I saw a picture of that man inside my head. A vision. It was horrible. I love all this kind of theatrical dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very theatrical, isn't it? It
Oh
is.
yeah, a lot of it TV was back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, not so much in the 80s.
No, maybe this is more of a relic in some ways.
It is. Yeah,
it's-
that's what I think. It's a very traditional story for Doctor Who. It doesn't really like I think I said on the last podcast. You could take this up and place it pretty much anywhere with any Doctor,
Any Doctor,
and it wouldn't
yeah.
really look out of place. But
Do
it
you
is
think
very.
there's any stories that would only work with their Doctor?
Yeah, I think there's a handful. Can't think off the top of my head of any such. I think, well, something like The Edge of Destruction, which is a William Hartnell story, could only have been written and performed the way it was at that point in time, when the TARDIS crew was very nascent and when the whole production was trying to figure itself out and work out whether or not the Doctor was a good guy or a bad guy, and you know, that kind of thing. Maybe so that's one of them I can think of, but maybe, I don't know, maybe not so many. Maybe more of them are transportable. Maybe something like what's the Madame de Pompadour story with Tennant? That one.
Girl in the Fireplace.
Yeah, I can't imagine that one being a Hartnell story or a Trout story. Possibly
done it as an
11th Doctor,
yeah,
maybe.
It would have been quite different, though. He
It
would
would.
have
I think
fancied
so.
her.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like Rogue, perhaps. You know, could that be any other Doctor?
Probably not, no. The Adventure could, but the element with Rogue, maybe not.
It would be done. It'd be done slightly differently if it was in the
Yeah.
80s, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
God bless them. Sign of the times, I guess. You know, we're a lot free with this kind of thing now, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in this day, Doctor Who was still very much a sort of establishment show, wasn't it? You know, it was, everyone's kind of designed to a type.
Yeah.
And there's Tegan doing some kind of menial work. What is she
I
doing? Is this the plague or something in these files?
Maybe.
Something to do with the plague, isn't it? See, you should have been paying attention to the story, Mr.
We
Geoff.
should have been, yeah. How does the TARDIS have that view outside? I've always wondered how the TARDIS is supposed to be able to randomly see different angles and things.
Do you know? I think round about this time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a kind of general feeling that the camera was in the light fitted on top
That's
of the roof.
What I wondered, yeah. Or actually, you know, the TARDIS is alive, and sentient and psychic to an extent. So
Yeah, I
what's
think
to
that's part of it as well.
it's not able to visualise what it's seeing.
Exactly. It's
They go
advanced
headcanon
technology.
that,
It's
yeah.
really clever at stuff like that.
What are they doing? It's getting a bit dramatic. Oh,
It's getting warlocks.
Whoa,
In
look at
comes
him.
death. I do like this android. I think it's really good.
yeah. Oh, he's got the scythe.
Yeah, it's the image of death, a very powerful, potent symbol for those times. Adric's
Adric
putting a
got a
fire. I don't know.
hose pipe?
He's got a fire hose. Oh, it's electrical. It's an electrical cable for Nyssa's MacGuffin.
Yeah, what is it she's
Nyssa's
doing?
got a thing. She's got a thing. I don't know. She's always building something in the TARDIS. She's always some bioelectrical, chemical, something or other that ends up having some sort of effect on the story later on.
Build Adric a haircut.
Adric, I've got you a new bowl. Try this one. A new pudding bowl. So Tegan's under the fluence, is she
I was
not?
just going to say, is she under
She's
the
got a bracelet,
influence
hasn't
here?
she? She's got a
Yeah,
bracelet
because
on.
otherwise, as a companion, you'd be really questioning your life choices.
Why
at this
am I
point,
doing
wouldn't
this? Yeah, you would. And the Doctor's trying to convince Tegan that she can override the effects of the mind conditioning thing.
you? Well, now, isn't this is a magical wall thing here, isn't it?
I believe it is. I think this is the wall that is not a wall when applied. There you go. Look at that. It just disappears as if by magic. I was looking at, do you know, like I said yesterday, that Michael Mealy was quite well known in various TV things.
Yeah.
So he's the guy who plays the Pteroleptal here. I did a little bit of investigating last night, and he was also the landlord of the old Vic, the Queen Vic in EastEnders.
Oh, right.
At some point in the 90s, I believe. There's an interesting factoid
There's
right there.
Factoid there. We'll sell
There you are.
this
He was
episode
Eddie
on
Royal in the soap opera EastEnders between 1990 and 1991.
Stick
can't-
you fool.
He can't do much with his hands, can he? Just
No,
kinda
he
hold them
can't,
in
no.
front of him there. I mean, it's the headpiece is really good for the Pteroleptals. I think it sort of stretches credibility more than his underpants. The further down you kind of look. What's your take on the Fifth Doctor then? Are you a fan of Davison's portrayal?
Yeah, I think I prefer Sixie over
Did,
him.
yeah.
I mean, I do like all doctors. I don't really like this sort of ranking thing.
No, no.
I think he's probably he's quite serious in a way, and I think with Nyssa, Tegan, and Adric, there was quite a bit of bickering between them all, and I think
Did
that
say
kind
that.
of
Yeah.
influenced the way he was, written and played. And I've always felt on Big Finish he was a little bit more sort of not lively, but just lightened up a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, I think I would agree with that. Actually, he just seemed to spend a lot of his time as the Doctor, being quite royally pissed off with his companions, particularly Tegan. I think,
Yeah.
he's rarely in a good mood. Whereas in Big Finish, I think they have introduced some more of Davison's own sort of
Yes.
natural sardonic kind of style of
Yeah,
humour.
he's not quippy, but there were sort of dry jokes and stuff in it, and that's not all I'm looking for, of course. But it is nice to have an element of humour to things, and particularly in a show like this, and he tends to be quite stuffy in a way.
I think he seems to channel a lot of the first Doctor in him, actually. Bizarrely, or at least what somebody's memory of the first Doctor might have been. In the 80s, I think William Hartnell's Doctor was kind of just written off as sort of irascible old man or something. The Terrence Dicks kind of shorthand. Short-tempered, short-fused. Whereas actually he wasn't like that at all. But of course, without the benefit of ongoing VHS recordings and iPlayers and DVDs that you could just reach out for and start playing. I think in the common memory, William Hartnell was an irascible old man. And I think, to a degree, Davison plays the Doctor a bit like that.
Yes.
But obviously being quite younger and youthful, which I think is kind of a nice juxtaposition with those elements of his character.
Yeah, I think that you're right there about the first Doctor. Everyone sort of thinks he's really grumpy and moody and everything.
The grumpy old man.
And there is an aspect to that, but watching the collection sets through a while ago and seeing more stuff through them than I'd seen previously, particularly in stuff like the Romans.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
He's like a little,
It's like a little
naughty
child in a
boy,
sweet shop.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great fun, and I was actually kind of like, I really liked it, and was watching it thinking, I don't understand this thing at all. That he's really grumpy. I mean, in Unearthly Child he is sort of thing, and that's the one that a lot of people
He's quite
have seen.
sneaky in in An Unearthly Child as well, isn't he? Because he doesn't want these people to enter into his kingdom.
No. What do you think of each Doctor? Should they play it like a past incarnation, or should they do it, as totally their own thing? Or
I always think they should do it totally their own thing. I mean, or whatever feels right for them, really.
I think there's elements.
Troughton, could have played it like Hartnell, but he didn't. He went completely the opposite. Maybe brought out a lot more of the kind of childish aspects of the Doctor.
Yeah, I think they should do it the way they feel is right. I think referencing the past and incorporating the core traits and past memories and stuff is an important thing to do. But like Davison here, to play it their way, I think is the best thing, and not be
that's it.
channel it or not trying to recreate what's been before.
No, I think you're right, and I don't think any of them do consciously try to, or maybe to a little bit. They'll pick up little ticks and clues from some previous Doctors, but I think each one has played it entirely their own way.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I looked up yesterday the pteroleptals. There were some quite nice models of them.
Oh, did you?
Could get. Yeah, I can't remember what make it was, but they look quite cool.
What, like little toys, little pteroleptal toys?
Yeah, little figures. Yeah, one
little
of the
figures.
Range, yeah. I don't know whether character was ever done.
Interesting.
I'm going to look it
Oh,
up.
Nyssa, don't kick your stupid machine. Honestly.
Pteroleptil.
Pteroleptil. Are you Googling it now? You're looking at it. So the Doctor's been moved from
Eagle
one
moss.
jail to another jail. Was it Eagle Moss? Adric's been caught by some rough and rowdy villagers and been bundled through the woods. I don't know why he's been bundled through the woods. Oh, the Doctor reaches for his sonic screwdriver, which falls onto the hay-strewn floor. Wishes that he had a proper key because, of course, the Sonic isn't very good with wood.
Oh, it's weird seeing the pteroleptil outside now.
Yeah, he's got a cloak on as well, hasn't he?
It's
Again,
not in a very
maybe-
effective disguise.
Yeah.
They'll never recognise me if I put on this
Yeah,
small
if I wear
cloak.
a moustache,
The top hat.
he's just serving up his chips in a
Yeah,
pot
it's
there.
the
What do you get your chips in? What do you call the material? Polystyrene.
yeah, it's the Deliveroo van, isn't it? Loading up. Now the Doctor's looking to assemble
Safety
something.
pin?
It's safety pin.
Oh, he's turning a bit A-team. I've got a rope, a safety pin, and a spanner, and I can
And
make
a
a
sonic
tank.
screwdriver. He's picked up everything else, but always left the Sonic. Has he got the Sonic in his hand?
Yeah.
He has, hasn't he? And in comes the pteroleptil leader, saying, "Shoot him if he moves." Of course, Mace is under the influences now, isn't he, as well? So the Doctor's in a bit of trouble. Tries to hide the Sonic. Is told to drop the Sonic device. He drops it, moves away, and yes! Bye-bye, Sonic screwdriver.
Was that it for it
That was
from
it.
then on?
Yeah,
Six he
never
didn't
appeared.
have one, did he?
Never appeared in the 80s after this point in time. John Nathan Turner wanted shot of it. I think Sayward was quite ready to agree with it. I mean, to be fair, I don't think the Sonic had been overused, really.
No.
You know, it sort of made it was in and out of a few stories, but I don't think it was ever waved around to quite the degree that it seems to have been in the modern series, which is interesting. And yet, even that was deemed too much by John Nathan Turner.
I mean, I like the Sonic. You know, it's part of the part of the Doctor, but I'm not too keen when it does things that you know it previously couldn't, such as create moving force fields. That is really using it to get out of jail free in the middle of a
It's
plot
kind of-
moment.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You know, and I get the logic of it. It's like, you know, I mean, John Nathan Turner wanted to see more of the Doctor's ingenuity, you know, making more of his environment and what he's got on him to come up with some brilliant plan to escape or whatever he needed. And whilst I think that's a really good thing to do, it actually creates problems because you've got to set that up in your story. And by the time you've worked it out and figured it out and have the Doctor play through finding the right bits and assembling the right, you know, assembling the contraption, the lash up or whatever, and then operating it, it's sometimes just easier and quicker just to say, well, there's a Sonic, that'll just do the job. You know what I mean? And then just move on with the story, because then suddenly the story becomes about making the contraption to get them out of this situation.
I think the Sonic's good. I think its parameters of what it can do should be a bit more
Tightly controlled.
set, perhaps. You know, like
Possibly.
when 11 turned it into some sort of magic wand type thing and the Rings of Ackerton. I didn't dislike it, but at the same time I was like, yeah, it can't really do that. And you know, the 14th Doctor suddenly making, you know, shield panel things. I mean, someone said it's a new,
that was never seen again, has it?
no, it's a new Sonic, and you know, perhaps it's got that function. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can buy that, but you know,
It's just kind of a strange alien technology that can do all.
oh, she's gonna let the rats out.
She's gonna let the rats out.
Who
that's a
let the
cliffhanger, isn't it?
rats out? Right, shall we go to part 4?
Yeah, hold on, let me just
What
get
Cottle
that.
say?
Oh no, that's
It's
Kinder.
already started.
Wait,
No,
wait for me.
Not Kinder Egg.
Right, are you starting? Are you on?
Yep.
I'm on
Hold
4 seconds.
Mine. Oh, okay.
5, 6, 7,
Oh dear,
8,
where is it?
9,
Got
10.
it. Oh,
You there?
Is that where you are?
I'm on 12 seconds now.
I'm going to go to 22. Tell me when you're at 22. Do a 3, 2, 1.
21, 22.
There we go. The logo has just
Logo
split.
just goes.
The Visitation.
La Visitation.
By Adric.
Eric Saward.
That's
So
what
well.
we're trying it in a French accent.
But quatre.
Very badly.
That's horrible. Apologies to our French listeners.
Yeah. Can you redo those lines for us, please?
So, the pteroleptals want to travel the universe and make loads of androids. Or something. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
I'm going to press mute for a minute.
So the pteroleptals want to travel the universe and go and make
Androids.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the glittery undergarments are optional for the androids?
Very much so, yeah.
What diamonds
I think
do you
there
want?
might be like a snap-on, snap-off, change combo kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Accessories.
Maybe it's like dress your own android.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, there's a bunch of jewels, or make your own bejeweled android kit.
Oh, look. If
Stick on with a bit of glue.
if Al is listening to this one, there's
Al.
there's a new toy idea for you. Dress your own doctor. And you could have a series of heads, different body parts, and make an ultimate doctor out of them. You could have... It would be a variation on 13's Power of the Doctor combo.
Oh yeah, it was all kinds of things.
Yeah. You could have
Yeah.
5's head, 6's left arm.
I think you should stop now.
Honestly, the phone will ring in a bit, and then I'll say, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it, Geoff. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, Al, if you're listening, get on it.
The doctors managed to break the fluence from Tegan and Richard Mace. Did he break Tegan's fluence? I think he did, didn't he?
He did something.
Seemed to kind of mildly
judo
assault her
chopper.
in some way.
Yeah.
So
Oh, look, you
that
can
seems to have
quite
done the
clearly
job.
see the pteroleptal has got
it's got,
printed pants.
He's got a fishy codpiece there.
My, what a big codpiece you have.
Codpiece face. Oh, Adric, meanwhile, is still getting
Still
bundled
being
through the
watched.
woods.
Where's
Don't know where-
3?
Don't know where they're taking him, but it's a hell of a walk. That's for sure.
You see that codpiece in the back of the cupboard? That's yours, that is.
Oh, dear. I'm a man of iron. Richard
Man of
Mace again.
iron?
Yeah. He
Iron
is.
Man.
God bless him. And the doctor's still
he's
in
cuffed,
handcuffs.
isn't
He is still cuffed. But Richard Mace professes to be something of an escapologist, perhaps? A lockpick? So the doctor gives him a
He
safety
sounds a bit
pin
like
hundreds of
Pertwee,
years
doesn't
before.
he? Interesting device.
Yeah, it's a very interesting device. See, now there's the thing that we're talking about different doctors being played different ways and what have you. Before Pertwee was Doctor Who, he was known for doing comedy voices and comedy turns in various films and radio plays and stuff, and yet gives us one of the most serious and authoritarian portrayals of the Doctor since forever, but with a flamboyance and almost like a tongue-in-cheek, sly twinkle to his eye, which makes him incredibly endearing.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He is quite serious. There's rarely a smile, but he's very affectionate towards Jo.
Yeah, that's what I love about
Yeah.
Pertwee's portrayal. It's he's all front, isn't he? Puts on this kind of veneer, and yet there are so many cracks in it to one of the most human doctors underneath almost.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, a moment of, real sort of emotion there when Jo leaves and, his reaction to
Absolutely.
it. Unlike anything else, really, in the whole classic era, I'd say.
Well, maybe, unless until we see the end of Adric, perhaps, but then it's more of a stunned disbelief that this has happened, I think, isn't it?
Cracked star and a broken bowl,
Crumbled golden star, yeah.
bowl cup.
Oh,
Did you ever have a bowl cut?
I don't recall having a bowl cut, unless my mum forced it on me when I was very small.
Did you used to have curtains when you were longer, or when you
They
were
used to have
younger?
what? Curls?
Curtains.
Oh, curtains, bangs. I was a
Yeah,
child of the 70s, so make of that what you will. as the Doctor just shot the lock off the door.
Yeah.
He's very proud of that. Bit of gunsmithery there. Richard Mace doesn't believe the Doctor's skills with anything like that are genuine. Meanwhile, Nyssa is still making her thing.
She's going to put some headphones on.
Size of them headphones, though.
Yeah.
They're enormous. They're massive. That's industrial strength, that is. She's got some kind of sonic thing. It's vibrating everything. So she's basically just plugged in a massive vibrating machine into the TARDIS power systems.
She's going to plug her guitar into it. What's she doing?
Yeah, that works. That works. I'm happy with that. I've done it. That's just what I was after.
But done what? Oh, he's gone.
So now we've got yokels running the pteroleptal ship, pressing all the buttons and everything.
Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
Cletus. Hey, cousin Cletus. I'm going to put me this here gun down on here. Hellfire if anyone come through that door.
Whitney, Cassidy, Chloe, Cody.
Don't know what that was. What was that? What was that?
Have you ever seen The Simpsons where Cletus the slack-jawed yokel calls his children out and he's got like 70 kids and they're like Whitney, Cody, Dylan.
So this guy, currently ensconced within the pteroleptal base thing, is looking somewhat confused that the trick door remains open.
Yes.
Because that's down to the Doctor's chicanery onto the side of it. But where is the Doctor?
Bop him.
Oh, he's hiding. G'day. Ah, there he is.
He's been bested by cardboard boxes.
Yeah. Empty ones by the look of it as well. Excuse me.
Arse.
Oh, coughing Bob Fleming.
People know what that is.
I'm really got to apologise if you're getting all my coughs because Geoff hasn't edited them out.
Maybe Riverside will clean them up.
I doubt it. That could be one good use for AI, couldn't it? Really, if it just automatically detects, coughing Bob Fleming and automatically removes said stuff from your podcast audio track.
Bob Fleming's folk classics.
Adric, meanwhile, is still getting bundled through the woods.
I've got my steps up.
That takes 3 of them.
Run.
After all that, they leg it. And he runs with them. It's a way, come back. You haven't bundled me far enough yet. We haven't reached the special place.
Take you to the special place, Adric.
Oh, dear. And, of course, the death android turns up, walks away.
So he follows it.
I have no idea what's going on now, mate. Like I said, this story has never been high on my list of loves.
I've really enjoyed this one before. I am enjoying it now, but we're getting a bit silly. It's near to Christmas, and I'll tell you what.
See, I can't make head nor tail of that. That's what Richard makes this, and I'm with him. Excuse me. They're looking at their script for the next rest of the episode.
Yeah. So if you haven't contributed, we're asking people for their thoughts on the their current feelings towards Doctor Who and what they're looking forward to, what they're not looking forward to, and various things like that for next year. So send us a comment. And
unless we've actually already put the episode out by the time you're listening.
Well, I don't know whether we'll be able to record it before Christmas. So I just came onto Twitter to have a look, and I see Bluey feature film set for 2027 release. That is excellent news.
Amazing. What is it?
Bluey.
What's Bluey?
What? What do you mean? What's Bluey?
What is Bluey?
Bluey is an Australian kids, quote unquote cartoon about a family of dogs. Bluey is the main daughter, and her sister Bingo, Dad Bandit, and Mum Chili, and it's about their adventures and what they get up to, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's really great visuals, but the storytelling in it and the humour and the heart is absolutely fantastic.
Big up for Bluey.
Yeah. Any Bluey fans out there, get your $1 out and
Punch him, Adric. Adric just lays into the death android. Sorry, go on. I was getting carried away with the drama there.
yeah, Bluey is brilliant. I highly
Well,
recommend it.
that's really good. I mean, it sounds right in my street.
Well, you'd still find it funny, I think.
It probably would be if my kids were as young as yours. So I would watch that probably.
Look, I'm not saying I'd watch Bluey on my own.
Yeah, you would. You totally
We
would.
watch it all the time. We've
Yeah,
watched
I'm not
loads.
judging much.
It's brilliant.
Oh,
So
look,
good.
hold on. This is going to switch on a massive vibrating machine. Whoa, that's some serious power going through them
Now, how's
circuits.
this android just walked in here so easily? I thought the invading
Because the
hordes
door
of
was open.
Genghis
No,
Khan.
you see, you weren't paying attention. You were talking
Well, I
about
did see the door
Bluey.
was open, but
Nyssa came out to wave at her good friend Adric, left the door open. She ran back into the TARDIS, didn't shut the door. The android went in after her. Adric bumped him, got whacked on the back of the neck, and the android went back into the TARDIS, which was open.
so what's it doing? Just sort of shaking him to pieces?
He's been vibrated to death and then
Ooh.
explodes. You know, sonic vibrations, etc.
I mean, it's a bloody good job he walked into that room, isn't it? If he'd gone
It
next
really
door,
is. To be fair, he
Yeah.
was following Nyssa through there. He saw
yeah,
her
good
disappear into it. So now she's
there's
got a
his-
burning android in her
his
bedroom.
remains, yeah,
And a handy fire extinguisher just there in a little box
in a
outside.
giant Tupperware.
That's what you call forward thinking,
Ooh,
that
look,
is, mate.
Now, if I'd written this, he'd have started moving. It would have been like the bit when the Terminator's half finished and half dead.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Phew, thank goodness that's over. You build a massive vibrating machine, you don't really expect that to happen the first time you
No.
switch it on. Or maybe you do, I don't know.
Did the packet say?
Well done, Adric.
Yeah.
Thanks
late
for your
to
help,
the party. Well done.
You know, to be fair, he did kick him up the backside a fair bit.
Oh, I mean, that
Just-
weakened
he
him.
went into that android, kicked him
Absolutely.
up the arse, and then got a karate chop on the back of his neck for his troubles.
I'd like to.
This is
get
just a little
set-
bit sad that her magnificent vibrating machine is now being destroyed. Oh no, it's the android she's a bit sad about. It was just
Yeah,
a slave
just
doing what
doing
it
what it
was
was
told to do.
told. I'd like
Anyway,
to get.
sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I'd like to get Sarah Sutton on the podcast, but I can find
Oh,
no
that'd be great. I
trace of
love
her
Sarah
anyway.
Sutton.
She didn't really do anything.
I don't think she's acting as much now, really.
No.
I think she has been for a few years. Outside of her Big Finish stuff, I guess.
Yeah, she does some Big Finish, yeah. Friendly Village. It sounds like Resident Evil.
I'll tell you what I really like when I watch the Behind the Sofa and
Yeah.
actually any of the Davison stories with these guys in it is the banter they have between them. It's hilarious. I think with Peter Davison and his dry kind of wit and his constant needling with Janet Fielding, and then Sarah Sutton kind of being the calming influence for both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's a brilliant dynamic, and somehow it kind of gets on screen as well. You know, in a slightly more heightened way, I guess. But
I like seeing when the Doctor and companions get on brilliantly off screen.
they all seem to, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, and even to see things like Christopher Eccleston with Billy Piper at a convention again recently. I mean, maybe they were always fine, but they obviously had put things aside and were getting on again.
Yeah, it's good to see when there's a happy company. Oh look, the TARDIS is materialising in this old drawing room.
Yeah, the Doctor is very confused about that, isn't he? Like,
He's like, who's doing that?
yeah.
Adric's fiddling with a few buttons on the inside. So Adric's got a little bit of experience with the TARDIS. He's been here the longest out of all of them. He's
Yeah.
fiddled with the buttons a little bit more. I think he genuinely, as Adric has got a genuine interest to be able to want to fly the TARDIS. I think he sees it as a challenge.
Yeah.
He's a clever kid.
He is clever, isn't
He's got lots of things going on in his head. Obviously, a lot of teenage things going on at the same time, which probably doesn't help him much. I always think Adric was, I don't know, it's a slightly underrated character. I think Adric, as a character, probably has more going for him. There's more stuff you could kind of write about, I think, than probably Nyssa or Tegan. I don't know. Actually, Nissa's got a lot of history as well, hasn't she? You know, given that her dad was killed by the Master and her mum was killed by the Master, and had a hard time growing up and stuff, and came from a very privileged background, perhaps. Tegan's the one we don't really know anything about. You know, she's an air stewardess, but then Auntie Vanessa, who got killed by the Master. I think that's about it. Don't know who the rest of her family are, or
No.
at least at this point, anyway. But then in some ways, I think, you know, we have more history and background to these characters than we've had in Doctor Who for quite some time. Even though they might be regarded as being slightly shallow compared to the modern series, there's still more of them than we had in previous Doctor Who companions.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm thinking back now, like it's Joe Grant and Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was no real arcs on any of it, was there? And character development, particularly.
No, well, that's it. And, you know, Adric does have quite a tidy little story. You know, in a way, he's only in a few stories, really, from Full Circle to Earthshock. But he kind of goes through the whole sort of, you know, I think he is a teenager. I think he's a kid struggling with his own sort of, you know, inner turmoil, you know, everything, puberty and whatever that teenagers go through, as well as being distanced from his own planet and his brother's death and the society that he grew up in being a total lie and one thing and another.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff that a good writer could really get to grips with for Adric. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. What we're looking at now, we're looking at a map of
London.
Circa, what is it, 1660 something?
3 or 6, maybe. Electrical emission from some scientific equipment. Losing my voice as well.
Yeah. So the pteroleptal leader has gone on a walkabout in London town, hasn't he? With his plague rats, I think.
He just popped into a public house.
It's just gone in for Swift Gin.
Yeah.
The old Gin Palace. This is quite nice. We're on film, aren't we, here?
Yeah.
So this is this a backlot?
I don't know, try and look it up.
Dunno.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It does, doesn't it?
Ooh, what's that?
They're all gathered around, their pteroleptals are gathering around their bong.
Come on, more. Sniff the fumes. Ah, this is really good shit.
Oh, yes.
That smells good. Ah, dude.
Put some Snoop on.
Oh, it's making my eyes water, dude. Where are the pteroleptals? So now the Doctor and Co are looking for the pteroleptals. Surely he's got to sniff out the weed or something. I guess London is probably quite smelly generally in those days anyway.
Yes, it would have been, wouldn't it?
Oh, look, there's a bakery in Pudding Lane. Well, we don't know it's Pudding Lane.
Oh, that's what he went in.
I
I thought it was a public house, but it's a bakery.
He's after some cake. Some cake and bread.
He's got the munchies.
Yeah.
You get the munchies.
Actually, do you know, I just noticed the colouring on
different colours.
The pteroleptals' backs are different, aren't they? That's quite interesting.
Has the Doctor realised where they are at this point?
No, he hasn't. No, he's quite just focused on scaring the pteroleptals who've got some kind of Joker party going on. So now we get the big face-off.
What's he got an umbrella in his hand for?
It's a laser gun.
Oh, yes, he had it earlier.
That looks a bit like an umbrella. A closed umbrella. So Richard Mace is holding a gun at the pteroleptal leader. The Doctor's holding a flaming torch. This is all out the back of the bakery, right?
Going down.
Yeah.
Almost out. And the other two are lurking in the background.
They are lurking, ready to... They're sort of sniggering. There we go, shut the door and pounce. Yeah, now we got you. Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Oh, he's down.
Richard Mace is done for that one. The pteroleptal has dropped his gun. Neck. Don't drop your torch in the hay, Doctor. That's flammable. Oh, dear.
Ooh.
He's quite a fighty Doctor, this one, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's getting stuck in there with his fisticuffs. So does Tegan.
yes,
You know,
Tegan.
battering a pterodactyl with a shotgun. Yeah, cover him over with a stamp on his head. Oh no, they're trying to
No,
put
they're
out
trying
the
to put the
fire,
fire
aren't
out.
they? I thought they were putting a sack over him and then jumping up and down at him. Oh dear. I tell you, once them flames reach that laser gun, it's going to go off, isn't it?
Yeah.
That gun's about to explode. Run, everyone, run! Get out of here! Oh,
Ooh,
this is
gosh.
disgusting. The pterodactyl leader is going to burn to death in a pretty gruesome way. This is another thing that sort of typified the 80s Doctor Who, isn't it? Sort of really gruesome alien deaths.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't stop with the alien death. This fire is going to... Oh, it's kicking off, mate. That's their weed machine gone.
And
Quick, everything into the flames. Burn everything. Burn the lot. Feed that fire. Just squirter.
a squirter. Oh, look, he's so
that's
gross.
gross.
Oh, poor
He's
bloke.
got big blisters.
Oh, he's just got snotty nose.
The Doctor just wants to leg it now. So they're basically getting rid of all the alien evidence or evidence of the aliens into that fire, just filling the fire up. Time for a quick shake of hands.
What's that?
I don't know. He's giving him a makeup case, I think.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Pronto.
So they're all bundling into the TARDIS now. Oops! Watch out, Richard.
Oh.
Yeah, watch out for that crashing masonry.
The sky is collapsing.
TARDIS dematerializes to reveal. Oh, I thought the street sign was always behind the TARDIS as it disappeared there. Shouldn't we have stayed to put the fire out, Doctor? Oh, you know, these things have a way of sorting themselves out.
Suspicion
There you
should
go.
have
Pudding
carried
Lane,
on. Yeah, Pudding
the
Lane.
source of the fire, Great Fire of London, as all school kids would have known in those days.
Yes.
Yay!
The Doctor's fault. Yeah, that was good. I like that. Brilliant.
What's your take on Doctor Who being responsible for these cataclysmic historical events?
Well, I quite like when they take, like I said in the last episode, a historical event, you know, like Vesuvius or Pompeii, and
Same thing, dude.
oh, it is the same thing. Oh, yeah, Pompeii's town, yeah, and you know, put the Doctor in it, and then put him in a difficult spot that the Doctor has to go through with it because that's the established event, and yeah, so I quite like it. I like that this was the sort of cause of the Great Fire.
It's fun, isn't it? And I think definitely, when you're a kid as well, perhaps that sort of thing, sort of gets in your head. You remember the Great Fire of London and all the other bits and pieces. I remember I was watching. What was I watching? Was it The Wheel? No, it was The Chase. It was a Chase quiz show.
Yeah.
And it was Bradley Walsh hosts that, and he asked a question of and it was like what's another word for fat in the body or something, and one of the answers was adipose. So, and the guy who answered it, he goes, I'm just going for adipose because I remember there was a Doctor Who story about about that involved fats, and I think the creatures were called adipose, something like that. But that's the sort of thing that sticks in your head, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite good fun. Not that was a big, big historic event, at all. But it's the kind of thing, the way Doctor Who writes stuff like that. So it's partially true, partially made up.
Yeah,
and sort of mixes the two things together. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's what's your verdict on the Visitation then? Visitation verdict.
It's good. We've been a bit silly on that one, but I have always liked that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's all right. Actually.
Like a lot of. Classics. It could have been a little bit tighter, a bit shorter, maybe. But
I think it is quite tight in some ways, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad.
It's tightly
at all.
plotted. I think the story, I think Saywood is great at plotting out his stories, and always seems to give his characters time to kind of flourish and find their feet, and be quite memorable in some ways. And I think Richard Mace is definitely that. The pterodactyl leader, I think, is pretty great as well. I mean, a weirdly restrictive costume, but they've also tried to do something with it, and different colours on the backs, different faces, the burnt face on the leader, stuff like that. So there's a lot of thought, I think, being been given to different elements of the story. But I think in a lot of ways, I think it's quite staged in its presentation. It looks like they're pointing a camera at a bunch of actors on a proscenium arch stage, which is not unusual for this era of Doctor Who, but I think it is starting to look a bit dated in terms of all the other TV that's going on around it at the time.
Yeah.
And I think also maybe the story could have brought the Doctor in a little bit sooner. Perhaps we have a long time in that old dusty house, which I remember as a kid, it bored me to tears watching that. I struggled with it. And I think for me, that always overrides my feelings of the Visitation whenever I watch it. I'm 10 years old again, or whatever I was back then. So it's difficult to get out of that sometimes,
shake that memory of it.
Yeah. But it's all right. It's a good story. It's traditional.
I liked it. If you are a fan, let us know. We'd love to know what you think of this story.
Yes.
So do please comment. Let us know, and we'll be back very soon. With new episodes, including our robot commentary with Al Dewar.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
And I don't know when this will
Christmas
go out,
stuff.
but Joy to the World
Christmas
will have
stuff.
been all gone. But yes, more things coming soon. So take it easy, and we'll catch you next time.
Take it easy and catch you next time. That's our sign off for this episode. That's
it.
Bye.